Welcome to Rick's Scale Model Fix. It's certainly been a while since I've produced anything to camera. This is partly due to the COVID-19 and lockdown in the UK. My full-time job means that I'm deemed critical to the government's COVID-19 response, and therefore I've been quite busy. Things seem to be returning to some sort of normal, which means I've got a bit more time to spend at the workbench. And today we're going to have a look at Eduard's weekend edition of the FW190A8 in 48 scale. So anyone who's not familiar with the weekend edition of the Eduard kits, it's basically the Profi Pack version, slimmed down with no etched brass or canopy masks or anything like that, and usually just a choice of a couple of decal markings, and they're offered at a more sort of cost-effective price. So certainly a good idea if you just want to depict a series of models, or you don't want a super well detailed model and you just want to depict a Focke-Wulf 190, for example. The kit number for this one is 84122. So just taking a quick look round the box there, and we've got the two marking guide options provided in the kit. So we've got one for Lieutenant Rudolf Linz, Norway, January, February 1945, and one for Germany, March 1945. Quick colour call outs there on the left hand side, and they've all got official titles, RLM colours, and they look to be listed to mission model paints, guns and guns lacquers. So, yep, says upper numbers are GSI Aquarius colours, bottom numbers are GCSI Hobby colours, and numbers on the right are mission model paints. So let's take a look in the box and see what we have. So lifting the lid, we've got the decal sheets and the instruction booklets. We shall have a look at those. And separately bagged parts, so we've got two bags with 5 grey plastic sprues and a single clear, so we shall take a look at those. So let's take a look through the instruction booklets. Eduard always produced some nice quality paperwork in the kits, and this is no different. So we've got some glossy A4 size paper with an intro about the model. Just on the inside cover on page 2 we've got the parts map, and as we can see there's quite a few generic parts there for the FW190 family from Eduard, and we've got a colour call out chart at the bottom. Turning to page 3 sees complete start of the cockpit, and this is all plastic parts, so there's no etched in the kit with it being weekend version. There are decals provided as well for the instrumentation if you want, but nonetheless it still looks quite detailed. So we've got sidewalls there, we've got raised detail or decal, these going into the central cockpit tub, control column, instrument panels, again decal or raised details to paint. The seat, there's got cushion which looks nice. No etched seat belts with this one, it's decals, and that coming together at the bottom of the page there to form a complete cockpit tub. Once that's done, we turn over the page and we've got some sidewall detail and the upper instrument panel. We've got an engine cylinder blank for the front of the model, and some smaller side details being noted as decals. Everything then comes together within the fuselage halves, so we've got the exhaust stacks, the pre-built cockpit tub, instrument panel sandwiched between the two with that cylinder head bank making up the front. Tension then turns onto the wings, a little bit of detail to go in there, and being called to open some holes there. Don't forget to paint the inside, the roof of the wings for the wheel wells. Again, quite detailed in the wheel well area, so we've got a main spar coming across there in the lower part of the single span part of the wing. Roof of the wheel wells and some structural detail. Nothing too complicated. Structurally, traditional lower single span wing piece, 2 upper halves. That's where the holes were needed for these bulges for the cannons, and everything coming together there quite neatly. Page 6, and we've got the completed fuselage and wings being mated together with the upper parts of the cowling and the guns. We've got the instrument cowl coming in to cover the instrument panel, and then we're on to flight control. So there's elevators, and tailplanes and rudder, ailerons, and then similar arrangement to most 190 kits. We've got this front nose ring and the armour ring coming onto the front there. Build progressing quite quickly, and on page 7 it deals with the undercarriage, which looks quite complicated and well detailed. It should capture the stance of the 190 quite well. Canopy and propeller sees the attention of the modeller focused in the next few stages. Open canopy provided, closed canopy a separate piece can be fitted there. Drop tanks, centerline rack, and some aerials, and then we're on to the two colourful markings, so quite contrast to each other. So we've got Germany 1945 there. The machine was discovered by Allied troops, it says, and the aircraft has been identified with the Reich Defence Network. And then the one on the left is a more attractive blue trimming, which looks quite nice. So there we go. Stencil detail on the back. Not too much to put on these, not like modern jets, and it should keep you busy for a little while. Decal sheet is printed by Eduard, I'm assuming, because it says made in the Czech Republic. Swastikas are provided in various formats for political correctness. We won't dwell on those, we won't get those out. So taking a look at the plastic parts, this is sprue A. It's quite obvious that Eduard planned to cover a whole host of 190s, as there are various details on there. 2 cockpit tubs, 2 propellers, number of wheel wells, number of engine fans. So very generic, obviously selecting the parts applicable to your build and this kit. It's going to be a little bit of attention there, I think, just to make sure the right parts are selected. But as typically Eduard, there's very fine detail, well produced, minimal clean-up required from those. Sprue B, flight control surfaces, some drop tanks, and again very generic. It's got a number of cannon bays there, cannon cowls, rudders, flaps, tails, etc. So again, be interesting to see just what kit you could actually make out of this this boxing. Another generic sprue in sprue C. Different types of wheels. You've even got the Night Fighter aerial arrays there, and smaller cockpit and detail, undercarriage. Tyres look nicely done. Instrument panels there, smooth and with raised bezels. Exhaust stacks and tail wheels, different wheel hubs. And then we come on to the 2 sprues dedicated to probably to the 88. So we have the wings, 2-part upper section married to a single part lower section, and the rivet detail on this is sublime. I don't know if the camera can pick it up in the light. It should look good under a coat of paint. And the last of the plastic sprues is the fuselage, and again the level of detail on this is carried over from the wings. Certainly well produced and should go together quite well. What's left is the clear parts. I won't remove these from the bag just for their protection. Number of parts included, open and close canopies as we saw in the instructions. At the time I purchased the kit, I thought I'd pick up just some convenience items. So we've got the Eduard mask set, which is EX677, and we've got the Eduard pre-done cockpit instrument panel, which comes with the seat belts as well, so that should look really nice. I've used one of these in the Starfighter build. If you watch that video, I was quite impressed with those, so I picked those up, so we'll have a look at those.
So there we go, that was a quick look at Eduard's FW190A8 weekend edition in 1/48 scale. Couple of extras in there just to speed things up with the build. Overall, I'm looking forward to getting this one started, and who knows, it might even feature as a full video build. So thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you found it useful. So if you like what you see, please subscribe, and there's plenty more to come. Hopefully now COVID is behind us slightly, and things are returning back to normal at Rick Scale Model Fix. So until next time, please look after yourselves and take care, stay safe and keep well.